Chess for Children. We make children smarter.
Hi, Chess for Children kids, and today we will be talking about back rank checkmates.
Chess for Children kids, so much fun you'll split a rib. Summer, winter, fall, we'll checkmate them all with a Chess for Children kids.
Back rank checkmates. Hi, Chess for Children kids. This is National Master Steve Colding, or as everybody calls me, Mr. C. Today we will be discussing back rank checkmates. Back rank checkmates are among the simplest checkmates, but they can come from complicated positions. So we will show you 3 cases of the back rank checkmate and the simplest cases, and then we will move on to show you a couple of games which are really gems in the chess lexicon. This is the first case. In it, if you notice that Black's position is weak on the last row. He has nothing defending his last row. Okay, there's no rook or queen or anything he can put to block in between. So let's look at what squares the king has. The king has, let's see, this square, and this square. And there are 3 squares. And what kind of line is it? It's a straight line. So what piece can attack on a straight line? A rook. And so we move the rook to the last row. Can anything take it? We check to see if anything can take it. No, there's nothing available to take it. And since we have taken the last 3 squares from the black king, the game is over. He can't run, block, or take. So this is a very simple and very easy case. Okay. Now here's another case. And in this case, white is attacking the back row twice with both rooks, whereas black's only protecting at one time. And so that means that we can now place our rook on the back row. And when black takes it, we can take the back row again. And guess what? No more squares for the black king. Very simple. White is attacking the back row 1, 2 times. But unfortunately, black has it defended 2 times. But what if we remove one of the defenders? Do you begin to see the move now? Yes. The queen takes the rook and delivers a check. The rook takes. And now let's reassess everything. Hey, guess what? It's the back row is now only protected once when you have it attacked twice. And so the rook goes down, rook takes, and then we deliver the checkmate. The black king is now aiding in defense of this critical invasion square e8. Now, the black king is not in a position for us to deliver a back rank checkmate. He's on f8. So, do you see the answer? If you do, stop the board and stop the video and then try to do it. Okay, well, I'm glad if you tried. If you didn't, fine. If you just want to see the answer, fine. Queen goes to e7 check. King goes over. And now the king is in position. And now do you see what we're supposed to do? Correct. We're attacking the back row twice. And so the queen goes back and sacrifices itself. But when the rook takes, the game is over. Another back rank checkmate. Okay. Here, black is defending his back rank. With what? With his rook on f8. Oh, if we could only move that rook on f8 so that we could deliver a back rank checkmate. Well, there is a way. Why don't you take a look and try to figure it out? Stop the video. Okay, the way we're using it is distraction. We're going to distract the rook, make it move, force it to move so that we can deliver the back rank. Now, what row does the rook have to move on? Off the back rank, so we could deliver the mate with the rook at e8. So queen takes the pawn, And now the rook is forced to take. And when the rook takes, the rook on e goes to e1. And when the rook goes back, that rook delivers the checkmate. Yes, we could use the other rook. What difference does it make? Absolutely none. Use whatever you want. But this is a third way in which we can checkmate our opponent on the back rank. And this ends the simple ways. Next, we will be looking at a couple of game positions in which back rank mate is used in a beautiful way. Here we have a position, Bernstein, Capablanca, Moscow, 1914, with black to move. Here it looks like white is covering his back rank pretty well. And in fact, if black just continues in a lackadaisical manner, he could actually end up losing. For example, if rook takes rook, rook takes rook, rook takes rook, queen down check, and queen comes back to protect, rook to d1 is no good because of rook to c8, rook back, and rook takes rook, and it is actually black who gets checkmated. So let's go back and see what black's first move was correct. He gets first the rook off the back rank. And now the rook takes. Now try to figure out what the next move is. It's a beautiful move. So take your time, stop the video, and see if you could figure it out. Okay, if you figured it out, congratulations. The actual move, which is a queen sacrifice, is queen to b2. Now, he can't just take the queen because it'll be rook d8, d1. That will be checkmate. Okay, so that's no good. Okay, so can he protect the rook? Well, if he protects the rook, white just plays queen takes rook anyway. And queen takes queen, rook to d8. So he moves back. And so that means his only way is to, if he protects the queen, then he just takes the rook. And the rook is, and now he's a rook up. With masters, that's way too much. So a beautiful, beautiful move, queen to b2. One of the most beautiful moves ever played, some people would say. The next game is from Easy Adams and Torrey, New Orleans, 1920. This game has a little controversy behind it, because some people suggest that it was never even played. But regardless if it was played or not played, which we'll probably examine whether it was or not in a future article, the following sequence is very beautiful and very pleasing. Well, let's look at it. Okay, and take your time and, stop the video and see if you could see the idea. Well, the first move is not that hard. We have to ask ourselves what's stopping the checkmate. And after careful examination, we notice that the queen on d7 is stopping the checkmate. So we play queen to g4, trying to distract the queen from this diagonal, which is stopping the checkmate. The queen has to stay on this diagonal to stop the checkmate. Rook takes rook would be no good because queen would just take the queen, and if rook takes the rook, the knight is protecting it, so it would not be checkmate, and black would simply be down a queen. So let's go and look at the next move. Queen to b5. Well, okay, take your time. Think about what move we're going to make here. And it's the same theme. Queen goes to c4 because the rook can't take, because the rook would take on e2. The queen can't take the queen because the rook on e8. Okay, so this rook can't take, this queen can't take, yet the queen is still attacking the queen. So the queen has to decide where to go. It goes to d7. And the next move, well, if the queen can't take me and the rook can't take me, why not move here to c7? And now, since neither can take and the queen has to stay on that diagonal, the queen then moves to b5. Well, white tries to move the queen away by playing a4. Now the queen is attacked by the pawn. And remember, queen can't take rook, because if queen takes rook, rook would take rook, and rook takes rook, queen would take rook check, and that would just lead to checkmate in 2 more moves. So the queen has to take the pawn. And now this is the toughest move of the game. Take a second to see if you can look at it. The move is rook to e4. And again, rook can't take because queen would take rook check. And then if rook moves back, queen would take rook, queen would take queen, rook would take queen, checkmate. Okay, so that's no good. So the queen has no choice here. And let's see if you can see the final move that wins the game. Okay, the move is queen takes b7. And now black must give up this diagonal. If he moves to a4, the rook takes him. And remember, the rook at e1 is protected by the knight. If that was not the case, he could not do this. So now the queen has to give up the diagonal. The queen can't take the queen because of rook to e8 check. A very, very beautiful game, almost mathematical in its precision. With this, when looking at these back rank checkmates, you might think it's inevitable to be back rank checkmated. Not true, not true at all. In our article, which we have right next to the video, right over here, we show you a concept called luft. And if you want to learn how to defend against the back rank checkmate, I suggest you look at that article and discover what luft means. Okay. Well, I hope you enjoyed our exploration of the back rank mate, one of the simplest mates, but also can be one of the most complex. Now, if you want to do more on the back rank mates, there are links on the website, chessforchildren.com. We'll also have a quiz, some puzzles, and some more games. Okay, so now it's time to say goodbye. Anyway, I'm glad. I hope you had a good time. We have a good time doing this for you. So remember, Chess for Children. We make children smarter. And this is Mr. C signing off, and I'll see you next time.